things I hate about YouTube and Google is that they delete YouTube channels willy-nilly and make it really difficult for people to leave up information that independently corroborates or dispels myths, legends, and testimony. 2015, April 2nd, KeriLeigh Shriver was making a low shutter setting vertical cell phone video in a Nebraska lightning storm at night on Highway 136 headed east when the top of a utility pole smeared into a UFO about a mile out of Alma, 7 miles to Republican City at the, quote, last curve, and I found the location. This is a long time ago. And this is the establishing shot that shows you 3 main reflectors in the distance or light sources out of a window. This is what it looked like when the camera was turned to the right suddenly because they were pointing it at lightning bursting over here. Every time the lightning came on, that forced the camera's shutter setting to change and be inappropriate for getting every detail. Also, it should be pointed out, because it's a vertical video, if you're not aware of it, on many cameras at the time, that meant that the lines were being drawn from top to bottom, which meant that anything moving left to right might get missed because you'd be drawing a line this way, and then by the time it's moved to that point, it's already scanning the line behind it. So you can have things disappear, especially if they're just basically a vertical line. When you're doing a, quote, vertical video, it just shows up as a horizontal. It's like taking a camera, in this case you're in a car moving at high speed, taking a camera and moving it up and down rapidly, you could lose the lines on a wall or something like that. They just get smeared out. So this is the scene that was seen, and she was pointing it at this back here. I am only using the frames that have the least amount of blur. You can see how low resolution this is. But this gives you an idea. We're on a curve. There's some trees in the background, some buildings, and something else in the front here. And the description that was originally up didn't indicate this is only an 8-mile length of road in the middle of Nebraska, which is notorious for having nearly perfectly straight roads going everywhere in flat land. Nebraska and Kansas are both very difficult to find things in because there's a lack of real geographically useful. There's not enough stuff out there to see in the distance to be able to triangulate where you are. Anyway, that's what the resolution looks like that, but when you zoom in, the real content that's needed to be able to figure out where this happened, much less what happened, is pretty difficult. Okay, let's go to the next one. Pretty much the same image, except you can see that these lights, well, actually the reflectors, changed position relative to each other ever so slightly. So let's go forward. Another notch. We see a difference here. But you can see that the plants back here, those are trees in the background. And there's a reflector here, another reflector here, another one here, another one here. These are all on this side primarily, or probably, and these two are on the far side. Let's back up a couple of notches. Say those 3 there. Okay, we're only able to see 2 of them when we got it turned over this far. Anyway, we're getting to this one here. This is still blurry as hell because the camera keeps focusing on the windscreen. And again, this is the least blurry images. And now we see our UFO. Now I want to point out a couple of things about this image. First of all, this is as zoomed in as I can get it just about, because that's the best I can do. So I had to make a double-sized version of this, or a 60% increased size for our last image we're going to look at. But here we are. You can see this thing smearing. You can see a line. It looks like a smoke trail, but not really. It's literally just the darkness of the object, the utility pole top. What we see here is a reflector. These are buildings, and we can get a lineup from that. Anyway, after that, the camera swings over here, and we get a pretty good image of where we are. This is one of the reasons I was able to do something useful with it, because down here you could almost but not quite make out, again it was very blurry, a metal grate in the ground. And there was also reflectors over here and over here. In the previous scene, this reflector is actually before this driveway. And there we are going a little bit past it. You can see these 4 here in this pattern. Same as that. Okay, so this is the zoomed in version of it that I increased by 60% so I can get it to fill up the screen, because doing Google Maps on Google Street View, when you click anything, it really doesn't want to zoom in a linear way, and it doesn't give you the ability to fine-tune it. So here we go. I mean, it's nearly a perfect lineup for the angle. Obviously, the Google Street View camera is higher than a person is inside of a car, so the buildings would appear higher relative to the background plants. Here's the reflector. Relative to the building, that's pretty close. Here's this building, and this building has a stripe in it. Well, that stripe is all it shows up. Again, it's smearing left to right, so the dark objects smear over the top of light ones. This dark area here is kind of smearing over the rest of it, but it's the majority of it. But we do see a large line and then kind of a light spot here, and there's the trees. And then we get just that. I mean, we don't even get any of this detail in here. We don't. Now, it took a lot of work for me to get somebody's stolen copy of this, I guess. Facebook is very, very irritating lately about not letting people look at anything unless they're logged in. Very irritating. Anyway, that gives you an idea of what's going on in it. So now that we're at that point, let's get rid of that, and let's see how many of the other images can be matched up. Here we are with 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, we got that reflector figured out already. It's supposed to be this one. There's 1, 2, 3. One of them's in the foreground. Well, we got 3 in the back and 1 in the front. Wait a minute. Could it be that I'm wrong? Well, don't know. But we do see the 3 that was in this original image here. So let's look here. Let's see if we can find those 4. Let's get a good lineup on them. Let's assume it's these 2 here. Zoom in. And we got, well, that is kind of weird, isn't it? Or maybe they just removed a couple of signs or something else. Well, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold up a minute. Let's see if we can just back that stick up real good, like really far, and zoom in on it. Now we got the 3, and then we got, but I can't, and that's kind of the problem with it. Google Street View images, there's 1 reflector there, 1, 2, 3 signs, and this one here. They are there, but they're really hard to make out. Okay, let's get rid of that one. Let's go here. There they are. Now we're seeing the road. So we should be able to get onto the road here and be right next to it as we're passing it. And there's that metal grate that doesn't show up very well. Let's see if we can fix this anomaly. Oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's just hard to see unless you're really, really close. Let's see how good of a matchup I can get for that. Let's just do that up. Yes, zoom incoherently. Google Maps and Street View. Please do. It's so nice when you do. Anyway, yes, there's 1, 2, 3, and yes, that is 1, 2, 3, and then this one. So if we back up again 1 more notch, just 1, if we can get the computer to do it. There we go. How evil of it. Get these frustrating. So yeah, it's that reflector, these 3. So it does match up. Okay, well that was amazing. Then we get this image that we already looked at. I skipped forward there. And then we get this one here where we have 3 of them lining up and we're looking around the curve. Let's go ahead and back that up. Again and again. Okay, that was frustrating. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are visible. These 2 are actually on this side, and those 2 are actually in the background. We see the buildings lined up here. So we... Okay. Lots of zooming in and out that doesn't want to happen when I need it to. God damn it. It's going to be too frenetic for me to make sure this works, but anyway... 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. It does match. Anyway, let's go here. Now we get 1, 2 almost lining up. That means we have to back up more. So we go like this and hope that it actually does what we tell it. They're pointing the camera down range, and we get an almost direct line up. Do we get any buildings? get plenty of buildings if the damn thing would actually focus correctly. So anyway, yeah. So I was able to locate that one. It's one of the videos I was proud of being able to, quote, debunk, because I could figure out it was a telephone light pole or electrical pole or telegraph pole, people called it. And I did it almost exactly 4 hours after somebody else figured it out. I found out much later. So I'm leaving a link to that archive.org or archive.is link to an imager containing the answer. Again, it was several hours before I found it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And this is a poorly presented version of a video I'm attempting to rebuild and remake from years and years ago, back when I thought I was really clever, but I was really just a couple hours late because someone else already figured it out. But anyway, if anybody's curious, that's the video. And yes, the person named KeriLeigh Shriver really did contact me on YouTube and say, oh, thank you. And I got a thank you, or it was on Facebook. I can't remember which. But thanked me, and it was a neat story for a little while. It was nice because the person who put up the video acknowledged it wasn't a UFO. It was literally just a camera setting, a positioning of the camera, and the fact that they were moving around at night in a lightning storm, and it was the telephone pole. Goodbye.